Hello, my crafty people. The other day I posted in the Glitter Makes It glitter group a cup that I made from one of the glitters that I received from Glitter Makes It. And I received a very good response to this cup. A lot of people asking, how did I do this? How did I do this? It is so simple. So what I'm going to do is show you how. I'm going to try to do this quickly but efficiently so that they don't have you on for a very long time. The things that you will need to do this cup. Now, I'm not going to do it on a cup because I'm out of cups and I'm waiting for a shipment to come in. So I'm going to do it on a glass vase. So the things you're going to need are your cup. You're going to need spray paint, silver spray paint. Thanks. You're going to need your glitter. And this is Opalescent by Glitter Makes It. It is a silver holographic. It's gorgeous. You're going to need a sanding block, 91% alcohol, a brush, Tack-It glue, actually wrong one, Tack-It glue, Aleene's Tack-It over and over, a pair of scissors, and the tattoo of your choice. So to get started, you would sand and prep your cup. Now, for time purposes, I didn't do that. You should know, if you don't know how to sand and prep a cup, there's plenty of tutorials. You take a sanding block to a stainless steel, sand it, and either squirt it down with 91% alcohol before spray painting it or wash it with Dawn dish soap. Specifically, Dawn dish soap is a degreaser, so that's why they recommend you use Dawn. But after you use the Dawn, make sure your hands are clean too, because the oils that get onto your cup or whatever you're prepping is going to come through. And I know this because I was like, and I had fingerprints, and yeah, it was a hot mess. So make sure you clean and prep your cup. And so what I'm going to do, since I've been touching this cup, is I'm actually going to spray it with the 91% alcohol because I've already spray painted it. It's ready to go. I'm just going to spray my cloth and just give this a quick wipe so that I don't have, and I didn't spray the bottom because this is a vase. This is a flower vase, so I'm not going to do the bottom, but on a cup, you could do a bottom. Some people don't like to do their bottoms and they leave them stainless steel. I like to do my bottoms. All right, so that is ready to go. Now I am going to grab my paintbrush. Now, Aleene's Tack-It is a repositional glue, which means when it dries sticky. So you can use this to make glue dots. But this is what we use to do the Tack-It method. Now, I saw somebody mention something about other repositional glue. I've not seen it. So this is the only one that I've used. So I take it and I mix it in. I have its own little jar so that I have it ready when I want to use it. Mix it with water, 50-50%. Take your brush. Now, I use a fine brush to do this because if you have lines in your glue, you're going to see the lines under the glitter because you're going to flatten the glitter out. So I use a very fine tip, and I'm going to bring you down a little bit so you can see. Then I'm just doing, nice strokes down, make sure it's evenly coated. It will go on the cup white or whatever you're doing. I keep saying cup, but I'm not doing a cup, I'm doing a vase. A glass vase, it doesn't matter. And this goes a long way. You don't need a lot. It goes a long way because you've thinned it out with water. It will dry quicker. So usually, you use Mod Podge and you want wet glue. For this, you want dry glue. Just make sure I don't have any real heavy spots. Go around. A lot of people would do this on their cup turner pole. I'm not going to. This is because I have to prep a pole to fit the size vase. It's kind of wide, and I've done it before to epoxy, but it takes a minute to get it all set up. So I'm just going around and smoothing this out, just making sure there's no heavy spots. Making sure my brush strokes are nice and light and even. You don't need a lot of pressure. You don't want a lot of pressure. You want it as smooth as possible. So it's a little bit white, and when it dries, it's going to be completely clear. I'm going to close this up. Make sure to wash your brush out. It's very important because you can do it now while it's wet. By the time I get done, it'll be a little bit dry, but I'll still be able to do it. So I'm gonna just try to speed this up and dry this a little bit quicker. Usually you would let it sit for about 5 minutes or so, but I'm trying to do this so that I'm not keeping you on for a long time. So I have my heat gun, which helps dry paint and Tack-It, so I'm sorry for the noise. Now you want this nice and dry and sticky because if it's wet, it's going to clump. And I know this because I did it. I got impatient. I was like, let me get it on, and yeah. So it was clumpy. I was like, all right, this isn't gonna work. So I had to scrap that and start all over. So you have to, when you're doing cups, vases, or any kind of projects where you're dealing with glue and glitter and paint, you have to be patient. You know, we're all anxious to get them done and see the end result. It's so much fun to do, but I find rushing just doesn't work. So you do have to exert a lot of patience when you're doing this kind of a craft. I've messed up a ton of cups, a ton of vases, a ton of things just because I was just like, I can't wait. Alright, so this is dry and you can't see it. It doesn't even look like anything. But it's definitely tacky. But it's not over tacky, so it's not so sticky that you're terrified to touch it that you're gonna get stuck to it. It is sticky, and you don't think it's sticky enough, but I promise you it is. And let me get the paper. I forgot paper. Paper to catch all of your glitter drippings. Because you don't want to waste all of this gorgeous glitter. You want to put whatever you don't use back in that container and save it for the next gorgeous project you're going to do. So take your lid off. Again, I'm doing this with my hand, and when you're dealing with glitter, you have to learn to become one with the glitter. I'm telling you right now, because it gets everywhere. So I'm gonna do this. Now, a lot of people I've seen do this, they do it with a shaker, like through the little holes. Some people I've seen do it through like a sifter. They want to get like an even coat. Me, I'm a pour it all on kind of girl. I'm just gonna go with the gusto. I'm gonna let loose when I'm doing this. I want as much coverage as I can get. And then it's just gonna fall off as you turn it. You see how pretty that is? All the different colors. This really looks nice on Christmas decor. So if you're doing Christmas ornaments, Christmas balls, Christmas cups, this is really a nice one. Alright, so tap off the extra. I can tap the bottom because I'm not doing anything with the bottom. And so I don't know if you can see, it's really sparkly, but wait until you see what happens when you start to tack it down. So I'm gonna put this aside, no dry time needed. You're gonna go right into rubbing this down. So I'm gonna pour my glitter back in the bottle because I use a ton of it. Like I'll go through easily a whole bottle. Some people might frown upon this. It works for me, so that's what I do. Everybody, you're gonna find what works for you. If you wanna do it through a sifter, do it through a sifter. If you wanna just pour it all on, go ahead, have at it. And I've got it on my arm. This is a very fine glitter, so you're gonna find that it's sticky in itself, even without the glue. All right, So this is where the magic begins. You take this cup and you start to take your fingers and you rub. I've also seen people, I think I saw a video where she did it with the silicone brush, where she rubbed it down with the silicone brush. I've not tried that. I do it with my fingers. I should probably try it with a silicone brush one day. Can you see what's happening here? This glitter is just, it's starting to, what you're doing is you're pressing the glitter flat. So can you see the difference? So this is, I call the fluffy glitter, and this is the smoothed out. And can you already see the rainbow happening? It's really, it's just so pretty. You know, when you have the right light, it just takes your breath away. You just keep doing and doing and doing. And this glue that's coming, or this glitter that's coming off this cup can be saved also. It's dry glitter. I've dumped it back in my containers and not had a problem. Some people like to separate it, and that's fine too. Whatever you want to do, there is no, that I know of, right or wrong in this. But now, if it was still wet, like I told you I've done before, yeah, that's not good glitter. That's completely contaminated glitter with glue and should not be put back in your container. And I've done that and had to throw it away. But for this, when your glue is dry, and your glitter is coming off, and it's powdery and fluffy and beautiful, throw it back in that container, save it. So I'm just about done with all of this. I mean, that's how quick it is. And you're just gonna, like what I like to do is just make sure I didn't miss anything. And when you do this, don't do it with a lot of pressure. Don't be rubbing the crap out of it like you're giving somebody a massage. Just gently rub over it. You don't need to give it a lot of pressure to flatten it out. It's a very fine glitter. The Tack-It is perfect, the perfect stickiness. And then this is super smooth. So now, if you were going to epoxy over this right now as is, you need to seal this with a clear spray. Either the 2x Rust-Oleum Clear is what I use, or triple thick. But you also polyurethane. You can do a coat of polyurethane over it. And if I do that, I'm going to turn it. I'm going to put it on a turner and make sure that it's not drippy or even, it's even. But for this purpose, we're going to go right into the tattoo because you can, which is why this kind of cup is super awesome. So look at this. So this is completely smoothed out. You see how gorgeous this is. It's totally smooth. It's got that rainbow when you turn it. It's so pretty. It's totally dry, and you're ready to do whatever. You want to put vinyl on it, put vinyl on it, tattoo, and then, but if you're going to go right into epoxy, definitely seal it. And after this tattoo, I'm going to seal it. And the only reason why I'm sealing the tattoo is because I'm sealing the cup. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sealing it. So if it was on a flat white base, I would not be sealing it. I would go right into the epoxy. All right. So I've made a glitter mess here, but that's okay because that's what I do. Put the cap on. Don't tip it over like I just did. And all right. So I've picked this tattoo. And I measured it up, and for the purposes of saving time, I've already cut it out. Now, temporary tattoos have the clear film over it. Don't take that off until you're ready to use it. So I suggest, whenever you're doing your cup, now I don't have a cup holder. I'm actually getting ready to make myself one of those because usually I do this in my lap, but because I'm doing this for you guys, I'm doing it on here, and I hope that it doesn't roll. So measure out your tattoo on your cup, put it where you want it, because, if you have, other things on there, you're going to want to place it around the other things. So you figure out where you want it. Mine, I don't have anything else on it, so it's going to be nice and easy. Temporary tattoos, if you've ever dealt with them, which most of us have, you know that they're sticky, so try not to touch it. And just place it on your cup. Now I'm going to stand up so I can stand over it. And if it overlaps, that's okay, because temporary tattoos will fold over the edge really nice. Now this isn't going to stick all that well to this surface. If you had a painted surface, it's gonna like stick, but like this glitter is so smooth that it doesn't stick. So you're gonna have to hold it while you start to do, put the water on it. Now I keep a bowl next to me because I like to have extra water in there. I don't want this sopping, dripping wet, but I don't want it too dry either. So if it's too dry, then I'm definitely going to put you down a little bit more. And if it's too dry, I'm definitely gonna put more on it, and if it's too wet, I'm gonna wring it out. But I'm just gonna go around and I'm gonna dab this water on, and it's gonna start to stick to the cup as it's releasing from the paper. So I want a little bit more water. I'm gonna roll it on its side. I start from the middle and work my way out to the edges. Just hold it and press it for a minute. Down the middle again, press out some of that water. I'm getting the right side, or my right side. Now I'm going over to the left side. I'm going to hold it there for a second. Give it a little rub and pat. I don't rub too much either. Because you know what I've done in the past? I've done a lot of rubbing to try to smooth it out, and I found that it's weird. It does this like creasing thing, so I don't like to rub a whole lot. I'm more, you know, I find that for me, pressing is better. I don't know what everybody else does, but I know I like to just kind of press it down. So I'm gonna make sure I get these edges. Make sure these edges are really good and moist and ready to release. If you start to pull this up and it's still stuck to the paper, put it back down, apply more water, and just hold it there for a second. I promise you it'll release. So I'm gonna try this now. Grab the edge, and it's good and stuck. But I'm gonna keep a damp towel behind me in case there are some pieces that I want to pat down, because sometimes I do want to pat down a piece or two. So it didn't release all the way. So I'm just going to put it back down, and I'm going to press some more. I'm going to hold it for a minute, a couple seconds. Is giving me a problem. I probably should have either went up higher or down a little bit lower. But see, this is what you're gonna find out when you're doing this. You know, sometimes you're gonna run into issues and problems, and you gotta figure out how to fix it without ruining the cup. So you know what, I'm gonna try starting down here. And this is releasing really nice. Give it some more water. This is such a slick surface that you gotta make sure it's really 100% ready to release from the paper. So I'm gonna give this a little bit more water. It's coming, but I don't want to force it. See that, guys? Can you see how it's just coming off really pretty? Oh, that's so gorgeous. And there you go. Voila. So I check it over, and I press down anything, any bubbles, because you can and you will get bubbles, and that's okay. Press it out. Like I press it with the wet towel first. Make sure everything's stuck down really nice. And put it on an angle, make sure there are no bubbles. If you have a bubble that's really giving you a hard time, it's kind of in the middle and you can't seem to get the water out and you're afraid you don't want to rip it, you can always grab your weeding tool. It's super sharp and just poke a teeny tiny little hole. I promise you will never see that hole. But there you have it. So we're done. From glitter to tattoo. You could put something on the back side of this. You could leave it as it is, but this is how easy this is in 20 minutes to get a absolutely gorgeous hat. And then if you want to take it further, you can certainly take alcohol ink markers and just color in random places for pops of color. I bought a whole set off of Amazon for like $19.99. A set of alcohol markers. They come with a fine tip and a fat tip, and I have them actually right here. This is the brand name. I don't know how you pronounce it. It comes in this nice little bag. It's got a bunch of colors. Let me take it out. They have the fine tip, and they have this like blunt tip, blending blunt tip. And then I think they have a clear one, so that's like a blender also. So that is it. If you have any questions, post in the comments below. And that's pretty much it. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.